What's up, guys? So I just wanted to come on here and make a video about my most anticipated games for the rest of 2026. I've got 5 of them that I picked out, and in order to have these 5 on the list, they had to have a specific release date. I do have some honorable mentions that kind of have like vague release dates, like they're summer or winter, but anyway, the top 5 that I picked, they're not in any particular order, but let's just jump right into it. So number 1 is Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. This one comes out July 9th, 2026, obviously. It's for the PlayStation, the Xbox Series X and S, and for PC. And this one I'm super psyched about because I was a big fan of the original AC Black Flag when it came out. I loved getting on the ship and listening to all the sea shanties and going around, exploring, hunting for treasure. Ironically, it was like the most pirate game that we've ever played until then, and since then actually. And now that they're remastering it, remaking it, resyncing it, whatever the case may be, I'm really excited for it. A lot of the changes that I've seen look really cool. There's a couple things here and there that don't seem super great, but honestly, it looks like it's going to recapture the magic from the first one, so I am very excited. This one actually will probably be a day one purchase for me, even with some of the changes that they mentioned. I believe they mentioned something about the hidden blade. You won't be able to use that as a main weapon in combat. I'll have to kind of dive deeper into that to see what they're talking about, but to me it's not really a big deal. I'm psyched from the things that I have seen so far, and again, man, I'm pumped to get back on the ocean, get back in the ship, go on there, listen to the sea shanties, and just have a blast, lose myself, and become a pirate all over again. Number 2, this one I am very skeptical about. I'm cautiously optimistic for it, but it is Echoes of Aincrad, and it is releasing July 10th. 2026, obviously. I'll probably just quit saying 2026. I guess you know that it's this year since I said it's most anticipated for this year. Anyway, it's for the PlayStation, the Xbox Series X and S, and the PC through Steam for PC, I believe. So this one, if you're a Sword Art Online fan, you know that they are allowing you to create your own character in the game. You don't have to play as Kirito. This is your own OG character. You get to make who you want, which seems like this should have been done so long ago. This was like the perfect game, the perfect genre for you to be able to make your own character, customize it, and then jump right into the world. That's what Sword Art Online was about. So it's cool that you finally get that opportunity. I will say that I am a little cautious with it because from the gameplay trailers that I have seen, when you're walking around in like the villages and stuff, I don't know if the character just isn't running or they are running and that's their top speed. But if that is the top speed of your character when it comes to moving around and just getting about quickly, and that's like the fastest you can move or run or whatever, that's a bummer because that pace seemed like the character was really like weighted down and it seems slow and kind of clunky. So I'm hoping there's just like a toggle sprint option that they just weren't using when they were showing off walking through the villages and stuff like that. And even in these villages, there's like this giant gap, like this big amount of space that the character is having to cover. And if the character can't move any faster than what I saw from that gameplay trailer, then that's going to be a huge bummer, and it's going to feel kind of like, I don't know, man. It's just going to feel kind of bad, really, like in the hand when you're playing it, that your character has to cover these large distances but can't move faster than what feels like a jog. So, again, I'm hoping that's just, the pace that they chose to display this at rather than like, oh, hey, this is your top speed. If this is your top speed, man, that's going to be a huge negative because there are like giant swaths of this map and this gameplay where it feels like there's empty space. Like, there's not activities or enemies or things happening, and it's going to, I don't want to say it's going to feel like a walking simulator, but it's going to be kind of a bummer, a bit of a drag if you're traversing at that kind of speed. That's going to kind of suck. But I am hopeful. Like I said, it's the first Sword Art Online game that lets you customize your character, really kind of just hop in there and have that fantasy of being able to play in that world as someone that you create. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but still hopeful. That's why it landed within my top 5. And again, these are in no particular order. It's just the 5 games that I'm most excited for. All right, guys, and the next game up is The Blood of Dawnwalker. This one looks pretty sick. It's coming out September 3rd, 2026. I don't know why I keep saying the year. I'm a freaking idiot. But anyway, it's coming out on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and the PC. This one I'm really psyched for because it looks like a really cool vampire game, and we just don't have many of those. I believe there was also some gameplay in there where I saw him use some sort of like ability where he shifts into a wolf. So I don't know if it's like vampires and werewolves. I need to be paying more attention to it, but I was just psyched for the fact that it looks like a really cool vampire game, and they're saying that the choices that you make in this game definitely affect, like, you know, certain outcomes and everything, and how the game plays, and your choices matter and they have weight. Now, games have said that before in the past and not really delivered on it, but this one does seem like, you know, it's going to be a really good game. I'm psyched for it. I want to play a really cool vampire game, and the fact that it's open world and you kind of get to kick about and do your own thing in this kind of a setting, in this kind of environment, that looks really cool. I'm probably going to be going over the weekend and watching a bunch of the trailers that are already out for it so that I can kind of get a better grasp of what it is. But just a quick initial glimpse at what I saw from it, I was very excited, and it seems very interesting. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I don't know if it'll be a day one purchase, but it's definitely on the radar, and it's one of the games that I'm more excited about than a lot of the other ones that are coming out this year. So hopefully The Blood of Dawnwalker really checks that box for being a really great vampire game. Alright, guys. Next on the list, number 4, we have Wolverine. Marvel's Wolverine, and that is coming out September 15th. And this one is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. So, and I remember that they were talking about recently not bringing over a lot of their exclusives to PC. And since they're not doing that, you know, Xbox players won't be able to play it either. So, if you've got a PlayStation, you're in luck because you will be able to play Marvel's Wolverine this September. And I mean, what else is there to say about it? If you've played the Spider-Man games and you're a fan of like the superhero games, this one seems like a no-brainer. It looks phenomenal. I can't wait to get my hands on it. You know, you get to go around as Wolverine, and it seems very graphic, like dismemberment and blood splatter. It's a game that really captures the essence of how gritty and rough and raw Wolverine is. So I'm very, very psyched about that. But again, this one is a PS5 exclusive. It's made by Insomniac, so I'm very, very hopeful for the game. Usually they knock it out of the park with these types of games. So, yeah, man, I can't wait to get my hands on it. This one is probably one of the day one buys. Like, it's just a no-brainer. Big superhero fan, big Wolverine fan. And the game looks absolutely insane and over the top and gory and graphic, and that's what I want for a Wolverine game. So I can't wait to get my hands on it. Alright, guys, and last but not least, I think this is on everybody's, you know, most anticipated games of the year. It's GTA 6. So it says it has a November 19th release date. And initially, it is only going to be out for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S. And, you know, initially, that's just how it's always been. And they'll later release the game onto PC after a little while. So, yeah, but honestly, what can you say about this that people don't already know? It's another GTA game. It's by Rockstar. They do incredibly well when it comes to making story-driven narrative games and like creating worlds that you feel are very lived in and really immerse you into the game. They do a phenomenal job at that. and they're just really head and shoulders above a lot of the competition out there when it comes to an open world that you feel like you can truly lose hours and hours and hours of your time in and have an absolute blast, and like I say, feel really, really immersed. So GTA 6, obviously on the radar. I'm not ranking them, but if I was, this one would probably be number 1 or number 2. But yeah, man, I'm so psyched for it. I can't wait to get my hands on it and play it. I'm sure everybody else, is the same. You see the meme online. It's like, we got this before GTA 6. Well, guess what? You're about to get GTA 6. So obviously, I hope it lives up to the hype and the expectations. Just looking at a couple of the trailers for the game, it looks absolutely gorgeous and breathtaking. Yeah, I'm very excited for it, like I think a lot of other people are. So in November, hopefully, we'll be able to get our hands on it, play it, and see if it does live up to that hype, which I'm like 85% sure it will. So those are my top 5. We'll jump into the honorable mentions now that don't have specific release dates, but I put them on this list anyway because, they're games that I'm interested in. They just didn't have like a specific date kind of locked in. Let's see. So the first one is Stranger Than Heaven. This one has a tentative release of winter 2026. I'm assuming that it could come at the end of the year in December, or at the very least we might see it at the very beginning of 2027, somewhere around January or February. But this is from the Like a Dragon developers from the old Yakuza games. Those games were fun and quirky, and they were games that just remind me of games that you play just for fun. They're literally made for fun. So I'm hopeful that Stranger Than Heaven will kind of be the next evolution for that type of a game. I believe you play as a guy who, over the course of his life, you'll be following him. I can't remember how many years it tracks of his life, but I want to say it's a few decades at least. So it looks really cool. The fighting in it looks pretty good. Again, it's from the developers who made the Yakuza games and stuff. I guess rebranded as the Like a Dragon. But yeah, man, I'm psyched for this. This seems like one of those fun to play games. It's a fun game you pick up. It's got mini games in it and all sorts of cool stuff like that. It's one of those casual games that I'm going to enjoy, I think. I'm sure the story will also be pretty good. I look forward to it. Again, it wasn't high on the list. Even if it did have a specific release date, it probably wouldn't be too high on my list. But I am interested, and it seems pretty intriguing. I'm going to get my hands on it sooner or later and play it. I don't know if it'll be a day one buy for me, but I am excited for it. All right, next on the list for honorable mentions is Aniimo. Aniimo is a free-to-play game that is a creature catcher game, open world. It seems to be what Pokemon should have been 5 or 6 years ago now. It looks like a lot of fun. However, I am always weary of free-to-play games because of how monetization sometimes occurs in those games. Don't get me wrong, there are free-to-play games that do a phenomenal job as free-to-play games, such as Warframe, Marvel Rivals, Fortnite. A lot of these games are very fun, and you can get the whole package without ever spending a dime, and it can feel satisfying and rewarding and a lot of fun. But there are other games who make the grind so tedious and so insanely difficult and long and tedious that you're not forced to spend money, but for the convenience of it, it almost feels like you have to spend money. And stuff like that can start to nickel and dime you and feel almost like a little predatory. However, if this game is done well, and there are certain things maybe customization options, or I'm hoping creatures aren't locked to like some sort of paywall where, oh hey, get this generation of creatures, like how Pokemon has different gens. Oh, well, unlock this new gen for $20 and you get this 50 creature pack that becomes available in the open world that you can now catch or tame or whatever the case may be. I'm hoping it's not like that. I'm hoping those updates are free and then like little things about them maybe become customizable that you could pay for. I don't know. I probably honestly would have much rather preferred this game be available for full price and you just get the full game right off the rip. But we'll see. I'm hopeful, but I'm a little cautious about this one just because it is releasing as a free-to-play title. Again, nothing wrong with free-to-play titles. I'm just always a little bit skeptical to see how certain developers and publishers handle it with the monetization side of it. So fingers crossed that it's a great game. Besides, there's always room for competition when these creature catchers come out there. I think it forces Pokemon to really elevate its set of standards, and it's ups its own game. It's always good to have a little bit of competition out there because I feel like recently Pokemon has kind of suffered because of not wanting to set the bar a little higher, but we'll see. Everybody seems psyched for Winds and Waves that's on the horizon for I guess next year, but I was psyched for Legend ZA and that kind of disappointed, so we'll see what happens. Like I said, this is about Aniimo. I'm psyched for it. I'm hoping it's good. Again, optimistic but cautious. So last but not least, we have Fable. And Fable was one of my favorite games of all time. Fable 2 specifically. One of my... Oh, God, I just love that game. I sunk countless hours into it. From the mini games to, like, starting a little relationship and having a family. And then, remember you could have kids in that? And then the kid got captured and you had to go to, like, the... oh my gosh, what were they called? The Hobs or the Hobgoblins or the... Anyway, they got captured and you had to go rescue them. That was a lot of fun. And then, just the British humor in it. Everything just seemed really, really, really well done. So Fable 2 was my favorite game. Now they're reimagining and reinventing Fable. I just hope they nail the initial charm that the originals had, like Fables 1 and 2. And we don't speak of Fable 3, just because we don't. But, yeah, that was not one of my favorite Fable games. In fact, I was not a fan of it at all. But yeah, I hope they can kind of keep that initial charm, that capture that magic that the originals had. I'm psyched for it. I know that, it's a console seller for me. So when they announced that Fable was coming out, I immediately bought an Xbox Series X, and here we are, years later, still no Fable. I know it says it's releasing in the fall of this year, but at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if the game just never comes out. I know that's not the case, but it feels like I've waited so long to play another Fable game that this is probably just a fever dream, and Fable doesn't even exist anymore. But yeah, I'm psyched for it. Like I said, the game looks beautiful. I know they said they were getting rid of the good and evil like slider system because of how like NPCs will react to you and everything. It'll be different for each city and different depending upon the NPCs and their attitudes. Like if you steal in one city, a city 3 cities down won't have that same reputation for you because those people don't know you. I get it. It seems like the natural evolution for this type of a game, so I'm excited to see how that plays out. But again, I hope they keep enough of the original game's charm and wonder intact to make it feel like an actual Fable game. But we'll see. We'll see when it comes out. We'll get our hands on it. We'll play it. This one obviously will be a day one purchase for me. But I really, really, really hope it lives up to the expectations. But at this point, I'm kind of setting the bar pretty low. Anyway, it's from Playground Games. They developed the Forza Horizon games, which I think this is their first first foray into this type of a game, this RPG, open world, fantasy style game. But I have faith that they'll knock it out of the park. I think that they have, I think they'll do well. I'm like I said, I'm optimistic. I'm not gonna crap all over it before I've played it. But yeah, I think just because I enjoyed it so much for the originals, I have high expectations of it. Anyway, guys, there goes my my most anticipated games of this year, with a couple honorable mentions that don't really have specific dates just yet. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are there any games that you have on your radar that I didn't have on mine that you're really excited for? Go ahead and leave me a like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, just let me know what I should be keeping my eyes out for games-wise. And are you excited to play Fable? Because I'm thinking about Fable. But yeah, a lot of great games. GTA, Wolverine, all that good stuff. So I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.